You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. Hey, welcome to another podcast. We certainly appreciate you being here. Welcome to the Thunderdome, the arena, the amphitheater, the circus, the hippodrome, whatever that is. I don't know what a hippodrome is. I'm just reading off the thesaurus for arena stuff. Anyway, welcome to the arena of podcasting. We are stepping into the ring, and we're here to provide you the greatest show. I don't know if it'd be the greatest show on earth. That we might be pushing the hyperbole on that a little too much, but it's pretty to be awesome because you folks are here, and we've got a great guest as well. So why won't it be awesome? It can't be not awesome. So please make it more awesome by referring this show to your family, friends, and relatives. The improv of the ramble, just every time. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, youtube.com/Chris Voss, all the LinkedIn stuff, the big 130,000 LinkedIn group, the LinkedIn newsletter. Subscribe to that thing. That thing's hotter than I don't know, an arena on a sunny day. I don't know. I'm out of jokes for this now. We've tapped it out. We've tapped out the beginning ramble jokes. Anyway, guys, you know the drill. The family that loves you but doesn't judge you, the Chris Voss Show. Today we had an amazing guest on the show, and he's going to be talking to us about his very, very interesting background. He is the founder and CEO of SkinKick, which is often called self-esteem in a bottle. I probably need some of that. CEO Matty Schirle is on the show with us today. He's going to be talking about his interesting legacy and career and kind of what built him. His bio is kind of interesting. He gave me a lot of data on himself. I think he gave me everything but his blood type and his stool sample. But we'll get that from him on the show. Welcome to the show, Matty. How are you, sir?
I'm wonderful. Thank you. And humbled to be here. And let's make it your best show ever.
Let's do it. The best show ever.
Try.
Damn it, that's a high bar to set. And you realize if we don't make it the best show ever, we're screwed, right? Because we set that boundary or that marker.
No, we're never screwed. You don't. As long as we don't give up, we'll just keep trying.
Sure. All right, let's do it. We'll be here for hours. Matty, so welcome to the show. It's great to have you on. Thanks for coming. Give us your .com so people can find you on those interwebages.
Very simple. Skin is the skin on your body, and kick, like kick your self-esteem to the highest level ever. SkinKick.com.
There you go. And I got your last name pronounced correctly, right?
You absolutely do. That's perfect.
There you go. Well, I tend to read the bios when they come across. So this is pretty interesting. Let's lay a foundation of you before we get into your company that you started. You're one of 7 children. I thought that was pretty interesting. What was that? Where are you in the birth order there?
Well, you should be able to guess, right?
You're the number one.
No, right smack in the middle. So I got beat up a little bit, but I got to beat some up a little bit too, right? So I'm a survivor and a fighter, and so.
Well, that explains my siblings' experience. I was the oldest one, so I beat up everybody, and then they worked it out amongst themselves. So now I know what was going on with my siblings.
Exactly.
I often tease my siblings. I'm like, I took all the good DNA and chromosomes out of the womb and left you guys leftovers. So sorry, eh? I took all the, the good looking and the smartest and whatever sort of bullshit I tell myself. But no, so you had kind of an interesting experience. And yeah, are you a Gen Xer? Is that your fall in life?
Yeah, I'm right at the right.
Yeah, so
right at the high end of that.
It's funny, you in your bio, you talked about the same stuff I wrote in my book about how I came up, working as early as I think it was 9 or 10 when I started mowing lawns. And you did some of the same thing. You even convinced your mom to let you, it said drive a lawnmower. Did you have one of those driving lawnmowers?
No, I made her, drive me with my lawnmower in her trunk.
Really?
So I wouldn't say made her, but I convinced her So unfortunately, we didn't have cell phones back then. So for her to come back and pick me up, it was like, you had to find the 25-cent phone, to put it in and call her. But no, yeah, that's where it all started. And really, it has to come with genetics. My mom's Irish. I get the big old heart from her. I'm very soft for women and children that suffer. And then my father, they both grew up super poor. And so he taught me about elbow grease. And those are good things to have under your belt.
Did that elbow grease lead you to end up eventually starting SkinKick? Because elbow grease. I guess you can see what I'm going there.
Yeah, they're. We actually can help with the elbows for that.
Can it really? There you go.
Oh,
see,
yeah.
that. They like that product placement lead in. That's what.
Perfect.
That's what they pay me the big bucks for. Something I thought that was really interesting, and it's interesting how you and I grew up in this generation. Your mom was nicer than my mom. I'm still scarred from trying to ram a lawnmower all around the neighborhood for miles at a time, because I had a little business going, a lawn mowing there. But no, you would have to with my family, you had to you could drive the thing all around the sidewalks that were unkept and going all sorts of different ways. And you're like ramming it into stuff half the time, and you're just like, oh my God, I would have dreamed if my mom would have let me put the lawnmower in the car. I'm gonna have to take that up with my psychiatrist as my new scar from my parent childhood. I think I have PTSD from that. I'm going with that. Sounds like it's a new thing for my victim you got a victim competition in this world. This is the new thing. But no, one thing I thought that was really cool about your bio that was really interesting is you were taught accountability from day one by your parents. You were given chores, and you had a demerit system and reward system for performance, and you were taught how to measure performance. And then you were allowed to see success, but to earn your own way. Tell us what that's about, because a lot of helicopter parents probably need some of that guidance these days.
It was interesting. So, Dad made his way to a medical doctor. Mom was a nurse. But like I said, they grew up dirt poor. And so we had 3 acres and a nice, everything was nice. But what he did is, while we had food on the table, I'm very gifted for having the beautiful house and all that. But we had to buy our own clothes, our own shoes. He laughed at me when he asked, "What do you want for your 16th birthday?" I said, I told him for 5 years I wanted a Jeep. He showed up on my 16th birthday with this little Toyota Jeep plastic thing about this big.
Wow.
He laughed for about 2 years. But, when you're going through it, you're grumbling, right? But I can tell you what, he actually had a demerit system. So we each had a garden. Or a couple gardens or a rock bed or something, and we had to maintain it. And so on Sunday evening, he would walk around with his checklist. And so you learned checklists back then. He had a checklist, he'd go through, and if you didn't meet the requirement, you get demerits. If you did, then you can have your $25 a week that you have to use to pay for clothes.
Wow.
So if you wanted the nice tennis shoes, which at that time, I don't want to admit it, but they were $11 and $12, not 150 and 160. But anyhow, yeah, it was unbelievable. You complain when you're going through it, but then you look back and you say, thank you, Dad, for instilling us all those traits that you felt were valuable.
Yeah. I was going on, this stuck out at me because I was going on yesterday. If I go a certain way out of the house during the day, I have to drive by a local elementary school. And if I drive by at the wrong time, they're either dropping off all the kids and it's a traffic jam of hundreds of cars, or it's in the afternoon where they're picking up the kids and it's a traffic jam of hundreds of cars. And I always try and remember not to go that way, because I'm like, don't go that way. And then, sometimes I forget, or you're just like, I have to get that way. And you get stuck in this huge thing. And I'm like, all these kids have like limo service nowadays. where they just and they can't, like, even if I wanted to pick up kids that I had, I mean, I shipped mine off to military school. They're supposed to call me when they're 18. And then some went to a Chinese organ harvesting clinic. But well, Dad needed a BMW. My kids love me. They give. So that's a favorite joke. But no, they're like I would be at least like, okay, honey, I'm gonna pick you up from school, but I'm gonna park about 50 yards or 20 yards down, just within eyesight, but up the block. You just walk up to me, honey, so we don't have to navigate the 100-car limo line, And but no, it's got to be the limo line. And I'm not trying to shame anybody, but maybe give some thought to what you're teaching your children. But I made the joke, it was a setup for a joke that I made on Facebook, where I'm like, well, to me, if I had kids, they would walk back and forth to school, because dodging kidnappers actually is a life skill. So it's good to learn that. I don't know, but
well, when you're one of 7, it's rare that you get picked up when you want to get picked up. That's true. You learn patience and humility too, because it's not all about you.
That's true. We up here in Utah, if kids get kidnapped, they don't miss them, because they have like 7 to 10 kid families up here, and people just go, "Hey, did we have a kid? Was one of them missing or something?" And they're like, "No, there's another one on the way. Don't worry about it. He'll fill in." So
I'm doing all I can to be.
That's my Utah jokes. So there you go. Well, you wanted the best show ever. We got to do lots of jokes.
We got it. Yeah, we got the best show ever.
So you've started a few different companies out of that, and this kind of laid a foundation for you to build your companies and do some stuff. How many companies have you started? And let's just touch on that a little bit, and then we'll get into SkinKick.
Well, I did the original as a kid, but it was officially a company. Mm-hmm. And my father was teaching me about taxes. That's where I learned how to sell, what mm-hmm. sales meant, and how to communicate to somebody and convince them to trust me to cut their lawn. Mm-hmm. Where a doctor had he had many apartment complexes, and I finally got him to trust me. So I learned that. I learned COGS, cost of goods. You got to pay for gas. I learned mm-hmm. depreciation. Mm-hmm. Eventually I had a 6-foot cut machine that we could do 6 foot at a time,
Wow.
5 foot, 60 inches. And so that was the original company. But then, I focused, kind of had to play catch up in college, because I was building my business, had some kind of challenge. I had to decide to study again, so I came out with a chemical engineering degree. And then I decided to be a big corporate guy, because going into medicine, I felt you have to have the big heart and you have to care, about caring for people. But I was all about business. Mm-hmm. So how could I go be a doctor? It would just be the wrong thing to do.
I don't know, man. It seems like doctors are good people, and they do seem to care about us, but boy, they sure make a lot of money. So there's some business there. You got to have the business with the caring about people, I guess.
Yeah. You gotta really. Just my view was, you got to care about people and want to care about health. And I was more interested in being an entrepreneur, doing my own thing, making money. Yeah. And so I worked my way up the corporate pole. And then, I went to Japan, was the highest ranking American in a Japanese company. Kids lived there, wife lived there. And then I decided that inside those companies, I built companies from scratch. Mm-hmm. And it's not like an entrepreneur in that you have to find money. Mm-hmm. It's kind of nice, because there's a big pot of money that those corporations have. So we would do things like a reverse triangular merger. We cut off a piece of a Japanese company and got an American company to invest in it. So this is where I got my MBA. MBAs are done in the ditch, not in the university. So that was an incredible experience. And I finally decided that time's up. I'm not a corporate. I don't want to be a corporate executive. I want to do my own thing, and I want to stop making people money, and I want to be doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. And so I really had a calling, if you will, and it led me to skincare. I first started in oil and gas for about a year, and we actually created a very competitive product. it's a fluid. Since I was an engineer, I could understand that stuff, even though I can't even spell chemical engineering anymore, right?
Uh-huh.
So it's been so long. But we did this fluid company for drilling fluids, and we, landed like the number 3 company in the world to provide those fluids for. But people were doing wrong things. So I'm like, I'm out of here. I don't care how much time I've invested, money, done. And then skincare came to me, and I started working in anti-aging.
Wow.
And what happened was I ended up owning the entire company. The person who had actually done one product was off building another company doing semiconductors. So my fundamental core competency as a professional was semiconductors, making computer chips. So I got into this skincare, and I realized we needed a blemish relief lotion. So we needed something for acne.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had partnered up with a PhD doctor who studied skin cells at UT Southwest Med School here in Dallas. And I might be a chemical engineer, but I'm telling you, this guy's IQ is a couple decimal points over from me. Like, he's that rock star.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to use any of those internet people's names, but he's like that, only he can drink a beer as well, right? So he's kind of well balanced.
And there you
go. He came up with this blemish relief lotion, and we don't have any money, so we're off working with the homeopathic medical doctors in town. We do a clinical trial. We do our own clinical trial, which we can do with a medical doctor and a PhD. And so after 30 days of evaluation, this young woman, 14 years old, stands up. So we give them the product on day one, and we take a picture of them. She did not want her picture taken, boy, and she was forced to be there by her mom. We couldn't even see her face.
Uh-huh.
It was covered with her hair. And she comes back in 30 days, and she's standing so tall, and she's like waiting to tell her story. So we'd move around the room and listen for experience to experience to experience. How was your journey with this blemish relief lotion? She stands up. She pulls her hair behind her ears. She goes, "Do you see my face? I am glowing. I've never had so much self-esteem. And I went down, tried out for the lead role in the school play, and I won it."
Wow.
She goes, "I grew my hair out so I could cover my face." She literally goes, "You need to call this self-esteem in a bottle."
Wow.
So, Chris, that's where self-esteem, it was that. And I said to myself, forget the anti-aging. Like, anti-aging, it takes 30 days before you can, it takes, and then 30 days more, it takes a while to impact wrinkles, crinkles, cracks, and crannies. But with this blemish relief, we can see redness go down within hours. And if you have one zit, it'll clear it overnight. If you have the most cystic acne now, we can clear. And it's hard to believe that. And then we do it naturally.
That's awesome. So tell us about the makeup of the product when you say it's done naturally. What's the chemical sort of makeup that you have in it?
Yeah, it turns out the background on that is there's two kinds of sources of chemicals in the world. They're either man-made or they're natural. There's no other choice. And what I learned when I got into skincare, a woman taught me this, is that and also from my chemical engineering background, so it was kind of a combination. I knew in the semiconductor is we use the cleanest chemicals in the world. That's called 5-9. So it has to be 99.999% pure. Like, there is nothing in the world that comes a 100% pure. That means there's always unwanted byproducts. Mm-hmm. So when you get something with a man-made chemical, again, man-made versus natural, there's only two ways to get a chemical. So man-made always comes with an unwanted byproduct because the chemical reaction was never perfect and never clean and never a 100%. So we decided, and I learned what the woman told me is it's those unwanted byproducts that create the problem for your body. So she had literally come up to me at a trade show, and she goes, "Oh, you're claiming to me natural? I said, yes, we're 99% natural. I'm intentionally 1% preservative so I can last 3 years. Yeah. She took the product and stuck it in her mouth. And I'm like, what are you doing? She goes, I can taste the nastiness of the chemical. And then, believe it or not, Chris, she grabs it. Now, I'm not promoting this. You never do this. But I have done it accidentally. She stuck it in her eye.
What the hell?
Right? I'm like, what are you doing? But over time, I've used my own product and it ends up in your eyeball. Like it's kind of like your shampoo ending up in your eye sometimes.
Yeah.
And it does not burn at all. And so turns out that we believe in natural because your body, believe it or not, your body, people don't understand this, your body's 100% chemical. The only thing in the world that's not chemical is radiation, sun, heat, noise. But our bodies are 100% chemical, so it wants to be in harmony with nature. Well, that's why your body wants natural. It wants to reject everything that's unnatural.
It definitely does. It definitely does. I mean, I've learned this kind of between the soaps I use and other things. I've been more and more concerned about estrogenics and more natural stuff. I eat a salad a day now, partially because I got mold and my body's like, yells at me if I eat stuff like a burger. It's like, well, we're gonna punish you for that. So this is really important that it's natural. I was thinking back on when I was young and I used to get, and I had, acne issues. I didn't have them too bad, but I would get a lot of zits and stuff. But I would take what is it, Clearasil brand, and I swear to God, that would actually cause me to break out worse. Like it would, I would try using that crap, and it would actually do the opposite. I would break out more. And I'm like, I don't, and it really was like a clogging agent when you really think about it back in the day. It was like putting paste on your face. But no, this is really cool. So you guys have delivered SkinKick, self-esteem in a bottle. Give us the .com mid-show here so we get that plug in again.
SkinKick.com. Skin is skin on your body, and kick like kick your self-esteem.
There you go. You deliver healthy, clear, glowing skin that results in an improved image, leading to better decisions, a world with harmony, more love, less hate. That's what SkinKick is about. So this is pretty awesome. I know a lot of young people. I mean, geez, I was surprised. I'm like, how come I still have acne in my 30s? Like, what's going on? And, it's like, I thought this gets over in your teens. And then there's a lot of teenagers that, I mean, they really have it bad sometimes.
Yes. So what you described is exactly true with that product. So when I got into skincare, I have the advantage to ask 5,000 questions like a dum-dum. Right. So I went to the supply chain. I went to the dermatologist. I went to the medical doctors. I went to the estheticians, and I can ask 5,000 questions. And then I built a model. So once you start understanding behaviors and what's going on, I built a model. And today, that stuff, what you described, is exactly plugging your pore, your skin pore. So everywhere you have a hair, including your head here coming out, that's a skin pore. And our model says two things have to take place. One is the pore has to plug, and two is you have to have bacteria on your skin. So we have bacteria all day long. It's everywhere. And these pores are open, and what comes out of that pore is an oil. That oil protects your face, but that's also the oil that goes down your hair and makes for oily hair, for instance. But that oil's on your face, and it's there to protect you. And what happens is that oil's coming out of that pore. And if you block that pore, if there's bacteria stuck in the pore, there's no oxygen anymore in the pore. So what happens when you have bacteria, anaerobic bacteria, loves to grow with no oxygen. If you remember the guy that invented penicillin, his wife was screaming, come home, come home. So he slapped the top on that Petri dish, and it grew this stuff that became known as penicillin. It was bacteria.
Oh, wow.
So he put this dish, top on the dish, no oxygen in the dish, so it grew, and it became known as penicillin. So let's fast forward to your skin pore. You got the hair follicle sticking through this pore. Let me see if I can show it. Sticking through. Everything's hunky-dory. Bacteria's on top of your skin and down in that pore. As soon as you plug that pore, it becomes like putting the cap on the petri dish. The bacteria grows. It's got to bust out of there. If it comes out the top, comes where your skin is, oxygen can get to it, and it turns yellow, brown, and then black, and becomes a black
head.
Head.
There you go.
All right.
There you go.
If your pore is shaped such that the oxygen cannot get to it, it's still growing and it's going to bust out. So if it busts out the side, it pops to the top and it looks all white, like this. It's poking through the skin. It's got white top.
Mhm.
It's a white
Head.
Exactly.
Yep.
The
Seen
third
that
way
movie.
is if because of the design of your pore, which you inherited, by the way, that it can't get out the top. It can't come through the top. It can't come out the side. So it starts talking. So this pore talks to this pore, this talks to this pore underneath the skin, and it's what's called cystic acne, and that's where you get Dr. Pimple Popper popping that big gush of stuff.
Ugh.
So blackhead, whitehead, cystic. don't plug the pore, and then kill the bacteria naturally instead of using acids.
Wow.
So what we did is we turned the apple cart around. No more acids. Forget acids because it's destroying that natural layer. And so what we do is we came up with a 2-step process. One step is keep that pore clear, so it's a cleanser. And the second step is to go after the bacterials with antibacterials out of the which are natural out of the Amazon rainforest.
Oh, wow.
Everybody else that's using 400 companies are using benzoyl peroxide, salicylic acid to burn that bacteria.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what happens is it destroys your natural sebum, and then your body says, hey, where's that natural oil protecting me? And your body cranks the oil out in 2 to 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You have max oil plugs the pore, and you have this circle.
Yeah. So it just feeds itself and
Feeds itself. And that's why the neighbors or the competitors are using 3 steps. After they put the acid on your face, benzoyl peroxide, salicylic acid, adapalene, they have to calm your skin. So there's always a moisturizing step. They use 3 steps. We use 2. Automatically, I'm more sustainable.
Yeah. Doesn't the moisturizing, though, clog your pores as well if you do that? You know, you got the acid peel of the acid first.
What do you mean? In which case?
I don't know if they're doing the acid peel, like you said, with the acid, then they're putting moisture on. Doesn't the moisture clog a bit? I don't know.
Oh, it's can you imagine? So I'm over here talking about protecting your natural skin, and that's the new thing. I'm not the only one, but people want to. It's called the microbiome. They want to protect it.
Oh.
But there's this whole culture of putting acids on your face. Like women go down to it's called exfoliate. You want to to remove the dead skin cells. They use acids. So I'm like, acids, like the acid you put in your pool.
That doesn't sound good at all.
No, it is. It's the pH is like 3 and 4. Those are very strong acids.
Yeah.
Like it'll burn your hand if you don't have your glove on. Well, it burns off the cell, a layer of skin.
Yeah.
And so we've come in, we've turned up the apple cart, no acids, right?
Yeah.
For acne and blemishes. And then for anti-aging, we did the same thing. No retinol. And those things are what people call the gold standard. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You put acids on your face. It's just, so the beauty is you can get results with natural if you understand them, if you understand science. And then one last thing, I took technology out of semiconductor device. So when you build a semiconductor device, you have this big, deep trench. And it turns out you look at that trench from a cross section and you look at a skin pore, they're identical in their structure. The size and dimensions are different, but you have this big, long trench in there. And so I've applied all the chemical engineering know-how to keep that trench clear to skincare. Mm-hmm. And that's how we're, that gives us a lot of performance compared to the competition. They haven't figured that out yet.
There you go. And then you guys also have clean plus natural ingredients. You deliver a concentration of vino. Tell us what those are and how that works.
So what happened was the world started off with organic, in California when they were driving around with VW bugs in the 70s. Mm-hmm. They moved from organic ingredients to natural ingredients. And then there's a lot of marketeering that goes on. So the federal government found out companies are making claims were natural. So there were, tens and tens of lawsuits against companies that weren't really natural. So the industry's retreated back, and they're going to say, hey, we're clean. And clean it can be a natural ingredient, but it can be a man-made ingredient. And we'll decide which one it is. But to me, there are two ingredients that they allow in clean products to be designated clean. One is benzoyl peroxide and salicylic acid. The federal government actually made a warning of the use of those in 2014.
Wow.
Okay? The warning is that it can cause a severe allergy, severe breakout. Number two, retinol is the gold standard for anti-aging. What does your medical doctor, your OBGYN says as soon as you get pregnant? Don't use retinol. And I'm like, well, if it's bad for your baby, it's probably telling you it's bad for your own body. Mm-hmm. So of course we're clean, but we're actually 99% natural and intentionally 1%. So we call ourselves clean and natural. And I'd also have learned that if you're 100% natural, if you're shipping in Texas, you can probably make it from here to the mailbox before it degrades. So it's kind of like shipping a chocolate bar in the summer.
Oh yeah,
the bacteria is going to grow. So you really need a strong preservative system, and we studied them, and there's I call them family friendly. So we have 1% preservatives, 99% natural, naturally derived. And, our shelf life's 3 years.
Wow. That's pretty cool. So you don't test on animals. You've got clean and natural ingredients. You develop with a dermatologist for all skin types. I was looking at your website here, and one thing I thought was pretty surprising was there's a guy who had some really bad acne scars from his life, and he had some really bumps on his face. It looks like it's all cleared up after 6 months of using the product. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So, Chris, if you showed me any of those pictures on that there's 3 sets of pictures. One is for acne, a woman who was in her late 20s, had just incredible acne. And then there's a woman with they burned her at the med spa with chemicals. She has a chemical burn.
Oh, wow.
And then the third one is the gentleman with acne scars. If you showed me any of those, I would say you're photoshopping. Mm-hmm. Photoshopping is a hobby for skincare companies.
Seems to be for everybody these days.
Yeah, and it really irritates me because I'm like, how do I get around this? So what we've decided to do is we film the customer they call me up all the time saying, oh, thank you for changing my kid's life. Thank you for changing my life. I even have an 88-year-old lady who had breakouts.
Wow.
So that gentleman with the scarring, his son cleared. His son came to my July 4th party a year ago, and within 3 days, 3 applications, the kid cleared his acne.
Wow.
Now that's not unusual.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, 1 pimple can go overnight for sure. But if you have cystic acne, from 0 to 10, he was probably a 6 on the scale. If you have a 10, which means you have open lesions, it's going to take us 6 to 8 weeks to calm and get it all, but which is very reasonable actually. Yeah. So anyhow, this gentleman had acne scars, had acne as a teenager. Mm-hmm. And then he suffered all his life with those scars, called ice pick type scars. So if you will, those things 0 to 10, he was a 12.
Wow.
And so you could almost stick your finger in his scar. But what we learned, he did this on his own. I would have never recommended my product for that because I'm like, oh, you're going to take down my company and say, it doesn't work. But he did it all on his own. He had the cleanser and the glow renewal serum, and he used it religiously day and night. And he shows back up with that picture. And I was like, what are you doing? What is this? Uh-huh. It was amazing. And then he even went to his mom's 80th birthday party. He's 50 something. So he takes it to his mom's 50th or 80th birthday party, and his mom's, living in Chicago, hasn't seen him in at least a year. And she's throwing a fit like, that's amazing. So since that time, we're now releasing it and saying you can use it. And one of the next people using it, believe it or not, is the Catholic priest. The dude's clearing, right? Like he suffered his whole life.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm like, all we need to do is clear the Pope and we're in.
There you go. You just need the papacy and you'll sell like it's going to sell. Do you guys sell on TikTok now? There's a lot of skincare and stuff going on over there.
Yes, we're just starting. We're a little bit behind the curve, but yeah, we're getting traction. They all say we're a TikTok brand. The TikTok kids say we're a TikTok brand. You can imagine, like, I built this brand, right? I'm not in the demographic, right? But I guess I am now with the acne scarring. But so I surrounded myself with Gen Z's mothers and their millennials. The mothers are typically the ones that influence even the millennial, and I'm sure the Z to buy the product. But so I surround myself with people that are that demographic, and they tell me what to do. The whole brand came from feedback from the people that would use it. And so the same way with TikTok, I've been really apprehensive about getting on there myself, but there's a huge push for the CEO to be on there and to share a lot of our insights. Like, we're getting rid of acids. You don't need that. They said you need all our lives. We've heard shrink the pore. And I'm over here saying, are you kidding me? The smaller the pore, the likely it is to plug.
Yeah, that's probably true, huh?
It is true. Think about the hole in your driveway, right? Which one are you going to plug easier, the small one or the one that's, it's very, very common sense, but it's kind of applying engineering. All that engineering I learned about plugging a trench in semiconductor manufacturing is exactly what I'm applying here. So, TikTok is it. I probably am coming up with 60 seconds with the CEO, or we're going to do truth or bunk. There's so many myths in skincare.
There you go.
Starting with the pore, starting with you can't exfoliate twice a day, right? So while they're all using acids and they're exfoliating once a month, we figured out how to do it twice, not only once a day, but twice a day, and protect your natural sebum. That's got to be good. TikTok, you're going to kill it on there. My friend who owns Hint Water, she came on the show and we were talking, and she's the CEO of Hint Water, and I said, you need to go over on Hint Water. Are you on TikTok over there? And she goes, no, it's kind of hard to figure out. And I go, I originally thought that because it started out where you can only do 30-second content, which is really hard to compress, something like what we do in the 30 seconds. But now it's up to 10 minutes. And I said, you should go over there. There's people talking about your brand already over there. And she goes, really? And I pull up a search and showed her. I'm like, look, there's people talking about Hint Water on the brand. You need to get over there because I spend hours on that damn thing. And most people do. It's killing it. It's the most hottest social media site. So she went over there and she's killing it. She's doing the CEO thing. She just goes on as a CEO and talks about Hint Water and different aspects of stuff, and a lot of her management and how she manages. And she's killing it. Like, she's just destroying over there. And I know I've been seeing all these skincare ads lately and people talking about skincare. In fact, a lot of it has been targeted towards men and bags in the eyes. Like, are you a man who has puffy or bags in the eyes thing? And I'm just like, am I? Actually, yours look pretty darn good. Your skin actually looks darn good.
Thanks.
You said you were 90? Yes, for 90-year-old.
For 90, yeah. I mean, Brad Pitt calls me for advice, and I quit taking his calls. Well, no, I take Brad Pitt's calls. George Clooney, I said, you can't call me anymore. You're too old, man. You make me look bad. Plus he got married, and so I'm like, your life's over, just don't worry about it. That's a married joke, people. But no, I mean, it's I don't know, I just have a natural beauty. What can I say?
I wanted to say, so did you suffer as a kid with acne?
Yeah, really bad. Even in my 30s I would get acne. I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
So did your mother or father have it? I guarantee you one or the other.
I never really asked him. I don't think. We had a conversation.
So it goes back to that skin pore. So I like to say that a skin pore is like I'm trying to figure out a good word for it. So I'm calling it a feature, like your nose, like your ears, like your body parts. It's genetic. That's a feature that's inherited. So the design of your pore comes from one father or mother, and those features of the pore, like how big is it, right? The bigger it is, the better off it is. It's less likely to plug. Then how thick is that wall? If the wall is super thick, it can't get out left, right, down, and bottom. It's going to come out through the top. So those features are defined by genetics.
Oh, wow. So you've given me another thing I can now take into my psychiatrist and blame the scarring from my childhood. Cool.
Yeah, you got the wrong pore.
Mom, Dad, you scarred me as a child. You gave me bad pores. I'm going to text my mom after this, and she's going to hate me some more.
So like anti-aging is all about your skin cell, the cell itself.
Yeah.
The acne is all about the skin pore. So so whether you have acne-prone skin has to do with the shape of your pore and how thick it is, how deep it is, and how wide it is. And those dimensions make it more prone to acne or less prone.
There you go. And so if you guys go on TikTok, you guys are going to kill it over there. I can tell you that.
We're on there. We have like 18,000 followers.
Oh, there you go. So you're on your way.
Yeah, we're on our way. On our way.
Definitely.
For sure.
That place is that is was that a line from Zoolander? That's so hot right now.
Yeah, and also that will be the search engine. They're saying, the search engine, it'll replace Google. You'll Google there. So you Google what you need, and then it pops up as a video. It tells you how to do it instead of having to go to YouTube and see it. You'll see it there. And like you said, they extended their time of the video, so you can give some education, and it's quite impressive what they've done in a brief period of time.
Oh yeah, and you get some influencers talking about it, and you'll be kicking butt, man. It's crazy how things spread on that platform. It's just insane, and like the amount of knowledge. It used to be like Twitter was kind of the place to go for hot news, but it's almost becoming better for hot news over there. And then they do like little videos, like the FTX crypto thing that was blowing up this last weekend. Like it just spread like wildfire over there, and the data that people were compiling was just crazy. It was far better than Twitter when it came to news and like, here's the latest thing, and you're just like, wow. So the creators being able to come up with stuff is crazy. So what have we touched on about the product that we should tease out? Oh, that was the question I had for you. Does it how about with people that have rosacea, I think it's pronounced, and what's the other skin malady that people have a lot where it's kind of gets dry and brittle?
Eczema. Rosacea, eczema.
Yeah.
So we are 18 out of 20. So I'm not statistical. I'm not. I don't make any claims. The interesting thing is, acne is a disease. I have the right. Let's see if I have it. I have on two of our products. I have a drug facts panel, so I can actually use a natural ingredient to make the claim and use the word acne, which I can cure a disease with a natural product. I have a license to do it. It's licensed. There's and the FDA acknowledges it. And so I do use the word acne. Turns out rosacea is not a disease because they don't have anything to prescribe to cure it. So wow. I believe it's classified as a disorder. If it was a disease, they would tell you, like acne disease, they tell us to be acne, you have to use benzoyl peroxide, salicylic acid, sulfur. And we exactly designed all of that stuff out because it's not healthy for your barrier. And it actually, as we described, right, it strips you. And turns out that other people have been coming, and then it started with rosacea. And we're 18 out of 20 for curing it. Like cure to me means it doesn't come back in 12 months. And it typically happens within 3 to 5 days. And it's so we will have another product, whether it comes out its own brand or the SkinKick brand, we're not sure. But if you have rosacea now, I'd go for it.
Yeah.
You know what that's the red mask where it looks like you drank too much a couple nights in a row.
Hey, kind of get that rosy sort of
got
look.
That rosy, yeah.
There's some people that have it really bad, but yeah, I can see that any sort of skincare that's natural and going to be good for your face as opposed to, you know, chemical peeling. I still really don't know about that chemical peeling. I've seen some people, it looks like they got smashed in the face with, you know, after a chemical peel, and I'm just like, I don't know about all that, man. Like,
yeah, your gut is telling you exactly right. So if somehow they've conditioned, the marketeers have people in skincare conditioned that pain is good. You know, it's like building a muscle, you know, you got to feel the pain. But I say if you have pain, you know, run from the product, run from that company. Pain is not a sign of strength. Pain is a sign of you doing something wrong in skincare. So, you know, and all the people that can't do natural, by the way, are the ones that are telling us you can't do it natural and it's, you know, it's not possible. But, you know, I have 30 testimonies now of people that I would shake my head at if I didn't know it was SkinKick. Like if it wasn't me collecting the data, like it's like, are you kidding me? The rosacea ones are, you know, literally 3 days. There was a 20-year-old woman stuck in her dorm room for 6 months during COVID. She was afraid to come out because she had severe breakout, and her mom gave her SkinKick, and she reports in her testimony or video, she cleared in 3 days, and she had rosacea and acne.
Oh, wow.
So you can tell I'm passionate. The reason I'm passionate is that young girl, like I described, that 14-year-old girl, like she said, you know, you changed my life. Well, that young woman changed my life. Like I realized this is my calling. My kids are, you know, my kids are older. They're out of college. They're swimming on their own. They're, you know, they're doing well. So I can spend 100% of my time. It's me and my dog Murphy. You know, Murph and I are here just, you know, so I love what I do. And the best day of my life is when somebody calls me up. Best part of the day, they call me up and said, hey, you impacted my kid. Like he's a new person. Like I didn't realize my daughter was, you know, depressed and sad. And now it's like she's bloomed and she's a new person. She's outgoing. She's communicating. She's coming out of her shell. I mean, so our vision is very clearly, you know, clear skin gives you confidence. Confidence leads to better decisions. But I don't know about you, but I've made some pretty bad decisions. And it's usually, you know, when I feel crappy about myself, when I'm down. You know, so clear skin, confidence, better decisions leads to a better world, one with harmony, more love, less hate. And so we can do it. Just imagine, close your eyes and imagine just a little bit more self-esteem with everybody. You know, even we also, I mean, is your self-esteem perfect every day, Chris?
No,
yeah, neither is mine. You know, no matter who you are, no matter who you are, you know.
That's why I drink. No, I'm just kidding. I don't drink anymore. That's just a joke, people. Don't drink to solve your problems.
That could help with your rosacea. I was wondering why you had rosacea.
That's usually, if I had rosacea, that's what I do. I just be like, I had a lot of vodka last night. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
That's anybody
No, it's the other way around. You're going to tell them, no, it's rosacea. I wasn't drinking last night.
Oh, is that? Oh, you're hiding your alcoholism. I get it.
Yeah, there you go. There you
go. That's always note to self. Anyway,
yeah.
I quit drinking because I've gone all natural. Or as close as I can. I'm kind of veganish, and you know, I just kind of learned, man, being natural with your body and eating natural foods and stuff. Your body like goes, thank you very much for being my friend. I'm glad we could be friends. If you're friendly with your body, it'll be your friend back. That's what I've found. You know, just don't loan it money. That's the only thing.
Right. I'm 100% with you. And in fact, you may remember that I had to delay this webinar and webcast. And it turns out, believe it or not, this is unbelievable, but I had a roommate in my brownstone, and I was breaking out like I've never broke out before. Like I had that eczema. It started here, went up here, was on my eyelids, and it went to the top of my ears. First time ever I went to a dermatologist, right? And of course, what do? Give me some drug and some cream, which nothing worked.
Wow.
So being the chemical engineering problem solver, which, by the way, the only problem I never solved was my marriage, but I've done every other one. Every other one worked. But so one day I'm in my brownstone and I look down and there's one of those Glade plug-in things in the wall. And I'm like, what is that? How'd that get here? Right? Well, the roommate plugged it in. Well, I don't know if you know, but when it says perfume, you should run. Don't ever buy anything with the word PARFUM in it, because that's where they pack their super duper ingredients they want to tell you. Well, they're pumping those nice odors into your house, right, by plugging it in, and it evaporates. Well, those are the worst chemicals in the world, And sure enough, I unplugged it, and 2 days later, literally cleared.
Wow.
Then about after I had searched for 3 months. I changed the dryer sheets. I changed the pillowcases. I was I was doing max problem solving. And then when I pulled that thing out, I cleared. Okay, so fast forward about 30 days, all of a sudden I break out again. So I searched that house and I found another Glade. This woman had plugged in another Glade plug-in. So if you can turn the knob on and off, it's called root cause. So that was 18 months ago. And then coming into this, your webcast, I broke out so bad. I was like, how can I be a skincare guy on here? Like, you can't. No. So I felt what a kid felt when they're going to school.
Yeah.
With an acne zit. I've never,
And we don't allow people on the show if they have acne. That's kind of
it wasn't. It was eczema, and it was so bad.
Oh, okay.
Literally, I had scales. I looked like a fish.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I'm at work here, and I called the facilities guy. Hey, are you pumping these chemicals? And they said, into the air handler. And by the way, I found out over this time, many corporations, for instance, hotels, are pumping chemicals into their air handlers since COVID.
Wow.
Including these.
Oh, that's because of COVID. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how they learned how to do it. And then they're putting the nice fragrance in there. So anyhow, at work, sure enough, there was a room with Glade plug in it. We pulled it out and I clear.
Wow. I was watching, I'm bringing TikTok because people are like, how much time do you spend on TikTok? A lot. But I was watching a gal I can't remember what her job title was, but it was something, she was a scientist. And she's like, you need to really be careful about the candles and Glade plugins, like you said, that they're using. And I know lavender is there's a lot of chemicals in lavender when they fake it that can mess with you. And she was talking about the chemicals that they put in candles and how unregulated the industry is. And she was talking about the same sort of thing you're talking about. It's like it can really mess people up. And some of the chemical burn and chemicals that they put into candles aren't really good for you to be smelling, especially if you're asthmatic or you have other issues with your lungs.
Yes, I'm right there with you. I want to see if I can.
And I've had people put in Glade, the Glade, or I'm going to get sued by Glade, or they're not going to. They won't advertise on the thing. But I've had those plug-in chemical things around me, and they will screw me up. Like I can feel it. I'm like, I feel really weird around this stuff, and it really bugs me. And it almost chokes me. I'm not someone who can have a lot of candles and all that kind of perfumey crap. Like even my detergent is all natural, no perfumes. I go down that perfume aisle and I start feeling woozy at the store. I don't know, maybe I'm a baby, but I can just tell those chemicals aren't good for me.
It's not only you; it's all of us. Our humans are wanting to be in harmony with that. Like I said, our whole body, these bodies. It's kind of weird to think about it. But this is all natural chemicals. Everything in this body, my brain, my skin, everything's natural chemical. It's a chemical. It is a chemical. The only thing, again, that's not a chemical is radiation, sun, heat, waves, things like that. But I don't know if you can see this. Can you see that?
Oh yeah, yeah. I can see the scales on there.
You see the scales on that all the way up? You see my eyelid?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that nuts?
Yeah.
Like
and that came from the Glade?
That's 100% from the plugins.
Wow.
And you can, we can turn it on and turn it off. Like you can pull it out, clear the room for a couple days, and I clear. You plug it back in, and I got it. That's called root cause. When you can turn a light switch, you hit that switch, and it turns the light on. And you hit that switch again, and it turns it off. That's root cause, right? That switch is causing the light to turn on and off. You plug that plug in, and it causes that. That is really
that's extraordinary, man. That's extraordinary.
But it took my problem solving skills. But how many? Do you really think I'm the only one that's affected? It's like the percentage. It's probably 2 to 5% of the people.
And there's probably a lot of people that aren't listening to their body. They just don't understand what's going on, or they're using some other sort of chemicals and stuff to try and fix the chemical problem, which probably makes it worse, right? So
because you cut alcohol out, you're now becoming that's one way you're becoming more sensitive. So we're becoming closer to nature.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I fake a beer every so I drink one beer, I feel terrible. I mean, it's a lot of different than the 12 in college, but yeah, so we're probably more in tune with our bodies and nature. So that's how you're able to figure out, you eat the cauliflower and all hell breaks loose the next day, so And the same thing goes with acne, Chris. So people say, don't use milk, don't use pizza, don't use chocolate. Well, that's all hokey pokey. Each of us are inflamed on something else. So for me, it's M&Ms. I can eat a pound of it and I can get a zit. Promise you I can get a zit. But milk, no problem. Pizza, no problem. So, but there may be somebody who's, their insides get inflammation. That whatever that is ticks them off. For some people, it's wheat, right? The thing with
the
gluten, right? They have
yeah.
a gluten infection or whatever allergy, so they can't bring in the wheat. Little did we know, that never happened 40 years ago, 50 years ago. It's happening because what's sprayed on the wheat. It's the chemical that's on the wheat.
Is it? That makes sense.
Well, look at all these diseases, not all of them, but many of these diseases, they never happened 40, 50, 60 years ago.
Wow.
So
I didn't even think about it being the chemicals on the wheat.
Oh, it's exactly what they're spraying on the wheat.
Wow.
Right. And so what you have to do is identify what your body's allergic to or having inflammation to. So the one thing we all have in common is sugar. Sugar is a no-no. And the Harvard Med School guys or Harvard scientists in the late 60s, they're the ones that identified sugar was the number one problem. And at the last minute, the sugar industry came in and paid the guys off, and they said it's fat. And so 30 to 40 years now, we've been saying, low fat, cholesterol, all this. In reality, we're just now figuring out those guys, got paid to their report. And so the issue is it's the sugar. It's not the fat. Fat is healthy for your body.
Yeah. I mean, you need certain amounts of fat just to go every day. I have a little coconut oil in my coffee. There's the butter coffee that one of my other friends, Spray makes, Dave Asprey. Looks like we've got some love from Andrea Cox, who's a friend of mine. She's a big natural coach. She coaches people on eating natural and living natural and having natural oils and stuff. So this is really important. And like I said, the more I've gotten in tune with my body, the more I've been at listening, to my body and go, hey, what do you don't like there, buddy? What's going on? And so I've learned to eat better. I've learned to listen to, chemicals that are around me and what I'm smelling, what I'm breathing, all these things are really important and can make all the difference. So as we go out, anything more we need to touch on SkinKick and what you guys are doing over there?
No, I appreciate the time. It's what we want to do literally is we're priced from $16 to $59. $59 is for a 3-step system that clears and renews at the same time. So we can clear your acne and renew your aged skin, and we can protect your natural skin barrier all at the same time. The competition can't, because they use those acid plus retinol gives you chemistry 101 on your face. So we're there, and all we care about is your self-esteem, right? We want people to feel good in their skin. Yes, I'm a businessman. Yes, yes, we're going to make money, and we already have funds. We already know where we're going to spend our money. It's not on my house or my car. It's like, I was chairman of Children's Advocacy Center. Those kids suffer. 99% of them are raped, and it's thousands and thousands. When they say 1 out of 4 women, it's true, right? By the time they're 18. So we want to be given back. So 1, I can help you feel good about your skin today. And then 2, the company really, we have great plans for where we're going to invest, which funds, which women's centers,
sure,
which children's, it just breaks my heart to see, 2 things that I know impact self-esteem. When that woman said it's self-esteem in a bottle, I went back and asked 2 women. One of them was treated by our Children's Advocacy Center. Unfortunately, she was raped as a teenager, but I asked her, what would your life look like if you had more self-esteem, right? When you were a child and a teenager? She goes, I would have come forward quicker, right? I could have stopped that.
Yeah.
It just breaks your heart. And then the other was a young woman that had been trafficked.
Oh, wow.
And she was healed. And I was very careful asking the question, but I said, what would your life look like if you had a little bit more self-esteem? And she was like, are you kidding me? Like, my issue is self-esteem as a child. I never believed in myself.
Yeah.
So imagine if we could bump self-esteem up in this world, and
make all the difference.
It makes a lot of difference.
So Matty, thank you very much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. Give us your .com so people can find you on the interwebs.
Yes, I appreciate it. SkinKick.com. Skin is the skin on your body, and kick, like, let's kick your self-esteem. SkinKick.com. It's 100% guaranteed. You don't like it, I'll give you your money back, but it's worth a shot for 30 days, whether you're 8 or 88. If you have acne, rosacea, eczema, problem skin, or if you want to look like this, smooth, or look like this, there you go.
I don't know if anyone wants to look like me, but there you go. Matty, thank you very much for coming on the show and educating us about your amazing product. It sounds awesome, and it should be great.
I'm humbled. And I will see you on TikTok, Chris.
There you go. And we'll probably have the show on TikTok. We're trying to figure out how to cut the show up and put it up there. So all the fun stuff. Thanks, Mountains, for tuning in. Go to youtube.com/Chris Voss. All of our properties across social media, all the Facebook groups, all the LinkedIn stuff, all that place. Go follow us over there. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.